The Chicago Bears are rumored to be in on former Pittsburgh Steeler Arthur Maulet. Question on the table today: should the Bears look to bring him in, and what is he really going to provide for this team? Also, Colin Cowherd's being Colin Cowherd again, so time to talk about that. All that and more in today's episode of the Windy City Breeze Sports Talk Daily. Let's go. Now, if you are new to the channel, please like the video. Please subscribe to the page. We do talk Chicago sports daily on this channel. It's the only channel talking Chicago sports, how Chicago talks. So make sure that you get in tune with us, man. So, Chicago Bears are reportedly in on former Pittsburgh Steeler Arthur Maulet. If you guys didn't know, Maulet basically was released by the Pittsburgh Steelers, I want to say last month or 2 months ago, something like that. And, you know, he had some choice words for the Steelers front office and that organization after he left. He was somebody who had 59 tackles last season, 2 sacks and an interception last year, but I mean, kind of some up and down play from Maulet. He was the starting DB in the situation out in Pittsburgh. I guess that maybe, right, if you're bringing him here to Chicago, you feel a little bit better about it because it doesn't seem like he's gonna be a starter here. If he's a nice rotation piece, a nice role playing piece, I feel a little bit better about a guy like Arthur Maulet coming into the organization. I would be fine with that. He does say that he's basically weighing his options between the Chicago Bears and the Jaguars, and talks about kind of, you know, how he's going to be on a team by training camp. He wants to be with a team. That's his plan by training camp. And so it seems like the Bears could be in on that. Should the Chicago Bears sign Arthur Maulet? Type Y for yes or N for no down below. We'll be down there talking with you guys as well. Would love to know you guys' opinions. I think here's the thing for me. If you're going out and you're getting a nice rotational piece, right, that's fine. I'm okay with it. I do think there needs to be a little more depth at the cornerback position. I think that there needs to be a little more depth on this team as a whole. Arthur Maulet is a nice depth piece. I guess the real question is, are you breaking the bank for this guy? To me, when I saw Maulet last season, right, the couple of times that I ended up seeing him, more times than not, it was somebody, you know, cooking them down the sideline. And I think that was a major issue with the Steelers defense. I think that it was a reason why he was let go, even though he trashes the organization after he leaves there with, you know, some very, you know, like I said, some choice words on how the front office handled his situation. They did sign him to a 2-year contract, I believe, in 2022, basically giving him the 1 guarantee year and then, you know, releasing him on the second one. I'm not against Maulet coming here. I think it's just about what role do you want to see him in. And realistically, the role that I want to see him in is probably the role that the Bears would have to put him in if he came here, because I don't think that he's going to beat out a guy in Tyreek Stevenson, who I just believe that the Chicago Bears probably are really high on and are going to give every opportunity to lose that job. He's not going to beat out Jalen Johnson, and he's definitely not going to beat out Kyler Gordon down there in that slot spot. So to me, I think that there's, you know, there's opportunity here for him to be a part of this team and to be a nice piece on the field. And I'd like to see what he could do. I think the main question that everybody is going to be dropping in the comments, and let me hit that like button if I absolutely answer this right: why are we looking DB when we need to be looking at pass rusher? I'm right there with you. I do think there needs to be some depth, though, and it all depends on what you're going to go out and sign. Of course, you know, I'm going to do a video on some of the reasons why the Bears might not have gone out and got a Yannick Ngakoue or somebody like that ilk yet. But at the end of the day, it comes down to this, right? You've got one guy on your defense that you feel overconfident about on that defensive line if you sign Yannick Ngakoue, and guess what offenses are going to do with him? They're going to double team him. They're going to chip him. Do you have that other piece that can get there? Also, you don't want to end up overpaying for one of these guys. Now, Yannick Ngakoue, not one of those guys that I think you can realistically overpay, because you know he's going to give you production, but I do think that you have to know that you have something else on this defensive line so that it's not just Yannick Ngakoue trying to go through 4 or 5 guys. Now Now you're paying him $15 million, $20 million for the year, right? And all of a sudden you're sitting here at the end of the year like, man, he really didn't have a great season for us. Yeah, well, you put him in a position where he's by himself. Now, I don't think that you should go out and do nothing, but I do think that the Bears have a few other things to address to make these guys more impactful. And at the end of the day, that's probably just not going to happen in this offseason. And I don't know if this is the answer. Like Maulet, okay, that's an interesting signing. I like the depth at the end of the day. Like I said, if you're keeping him on a low budget deal, fine, let's get him in here, right? $4 or $5 million, something like that. Fine, let's get him in here. He's going to be able to play for you. Apparently, you're in this bidding war with the Jaguars. We don't have to lose our minds to overbid on the Jaguars. If they want him that bad, they can have him, in my opinion. But I'm just looking at this as a situation where, remember, Bears fans, it's not all going to be fixed in one offseason. Ryan Poles isn't trying to build this team through free agency. He's trying to build things that you can accentuate on this team through free agency. He wants to build this team through the draft. And so that probably means you're going to come into this season with a guy like Javon Dexter as your nose tackle, with a guy like Justin Jones as your nose tackle. You're probably coming into this season with a guy like Zach Pickens getting a ton of reps. They believe in these guys. They're going to put these guys out on the field and see what they can do. And so I think for the most part, you're probably going to see the younger guys, the Dominique Robinsons even coming off of the edge. Those are going to be the names that you're going to hear a lot this season. Is that going to be a better thing for your defensive line? That's yet to be seen. That's the scary part about all of this. But at the end of the day, I do get excited when I hear that the Bears are at least looking to add something going into training camp. What doesn't excite me at the moment is some of the names that are being thrown out there. But let me know how you guys feel in the comments below. Let's hope the Bears do make a little splash signing, and that gets us all excited. Even an Arthur Maulet wouldn't be bad, though. I mean, he's not a bad player. He's just I wouldn't want him as my starter out there play in Sunday in and Sunday out. You know what I mean? I just personally wouldn't. Colin Cowherd's talking again. Let's keep this thing going. Hit that like button, subscribe to the page, all that good stuff. Colin Cowherd's talking again, and basically he decided to go on a rant about Justin Fields and calls Justin Fields a bust in this rant. And he basically goes on to say, right, he lists Justin Fields' record as a starting quarterback. And I think here's where most Bears fans are taking issue with Cowherd's comments. As with everything Colin Cowherd, context is not a part of the conversation. Colin Cowherd, and I need y'all to understand this, he's clickbait. He's literally network clickbait. He is a walking, talking YouTube video. He is, I fell asleep with my grandma and this happened, with like the little like question mark on the thumbnail and like some dude going like this. That's Colin Cowherd. We get that, right? So you have to take this all with a grain of salt and realize what he's doing. He likes to poke fun at Bears fans and not actually use logic or actually look at the games. Remember last season where he had no idea who was actually playing for the team? Remember when it was Claypool and it was Fields and it was Armstrong? And I'm sitting here with you guys dying laughing like, who the heck is Armstrong? Colin Cowherd is not watching the Bears. He hasn't watched 1 second of Bears football. He hasn't sat down and analyzed 1 second of Bears tape. He hasn't sat down and looked at one play from last season. And all he's doing is going, well, Justin Fields had this going on and now he's 5 for 20. I'm willing to live with you talking about him being 5 for 20 and how when Justin Fields talks about, right, the top 5 rushing quarterbacks of all time, because that was what his beef started with, right? That Justin Fields said he was the top 5 rushing quarterback of all time, which when you start to break it down and you think about the fact that he broke a record with basically no offensive line, you kind of also have to look at that and say, well, yeah, I can see that. And you know what Colin's logic was? Well, how can you say that when you got Cam Newton, MVP, Lamar Jackson, MVP, Super Bowl champion, and like he starts going through all this stuff, and then he gets to Justin Fields and goes bust. And that is for the clicks. Guess what? Colin Cowherd doesn't care if he's wrong. Colin Cowherd doesn't care if his opinion is actually proven right. Colin Cowherd doesn't care but Colin Cowherd is about getting people to click on his show And if y'all notice it, whenever the show starts to die, when you stop hearing Colin's name for a long enough time, he takes shots at the Bears. He'll take shots at the at the Giants. He'll take shots. Everybody who's going to be right, the team that's going to come for you most, the fan base that's going to give you the most visceral hate. We know this. We know who Cowherd is. I'm not giving him the energy of sitting here and frying him on the screen, because at the end of the day, he's making a lot of money to basically be a TV clown. And that's okay. Shout out to him for making his bread. He is what he is. And I understand what he is. And I understood that as soon as I heard Armstrong last season. There's not even, I don't even know if there's a dude in the league named Armstrong. He probably still thinks Armstrong plays for the Chicago Bears right now. But Colin Cowherd's opinion on Justin Fields, you know what he is? He has to be the contrarian right now because everybody's excited about Justin Fields. And even the NFL comes out and talks about how good of a runner Justin Fields is. We know what he is. And here's the thing. We know, here's the part that irks me, I think, the most is when mugs go, well, he's a great running back. Do y'all realize that the running quarterbacks in the NFL, even the ones that didn't win Super Bowls, even the one that everybody sit there and they go, oh, well, he wasn't this and he didn't make this and he didn't do this. Mike Vick still was a great quarterback, right? Lamar Jackson is still an MVP. Cam Newton has been to a Super Bowl and is an MVP. Like, we always take these shots at the running quarterbacks. You got to understand, guys that run like this, one, Justin Fields doesn't want to be one, but guys that can move like this, that can get away like this, last in the NFL. They usually end up being guys who are pretty good quarterbacks in the NFL. We can say a lot of things about what Cam Newton's career ended as and how he took those shots and all of that stuff. He still was a Super Bowl quarterback. He still was a quarterback who literally was leading his team there. And that, you can't take that away from him. Whether you want to say that the running cut his career short, and I don't think that Justin Fields is going to be a running quarterback at the end of the day. I think what we saw last season was him running out of necessity because of the offensive line. And even here's the part that cracks me up, right? When you break down the tape, look at some of those touchdown passes where he's getting slammed under the helmet and he's still throwing that thing up there. And all of a sudden, right, like it falls a perfect dime to somebody in the end zone. Or how many times, I mean, like, I'm not going to sit here and argue with people who aren't actually watching the games. And for all the people that are sitting there with like, well, he's actually right. He's right about the record. Of course he's right about the record. You want to know why? Because the organization pulled the plug on last season so that they could be better this season. That's it. He was 5-20 last year. Guess what? There's a lot of those games that the Bears could have won last season if you've got Roquan Smith on that field, if you've got Khalil Mack still on that field, if you've still got Akeem Hicks on that field. There were a lot of games that were 1-score, 2-score games last season that are 2-score games because all of a sudden the defense just can't stop anybody. You know what I mean? So it's not even logical to sit here and have the argument and to throw the bus card out there this quickly with Justin Fields, knowing all of the scenarios that I've just listed in front of you, is just absolute clickbait. So, hey, I'll let me know how you guys feel in the comments below. Are you on Cowherd's side? Are you against it? It is what it is to me. I think he's a moron. I've never liked Colin Cowherd, and I mean, he is what he is. You know what I mean? And guess what? At the end of the day, you know what he is on top of all of that? Because of people like us who are gonna poke at him every time. Whenever you poke the bear pokes back. That's what Bears fans do, and he's very rich. That's what Cowherd is. He's very rich. I don't like his opinions. I don't like how he goes at guys and takes personal shots, but he's very rich. Let me know how you guys feel in the comments below. As always, it's your boy, Pat the Designer, back at it again to continue watching our Chicago Bears content. Click the link on the screen or check the links in the description below. Y'all stay safe out there, Chicago. Appreciate y'all, man. Peace.